Welcome to Building the Future. I'm your host, Kevin Horick. You can check out new episodes of the show every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. If you missed an episode or want to get more information about the show, please visit buildingthefutureshow.com. Welcome back to the show. Today we have Eric Lassard. He's an author, motivational speaker, startup founder, and social entrepreneur. Eric, welcome to the show.
Oh, hi guys. Well, thank you so much for having me on the show today.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on the show. You're doing a ton of stuff I think most people potentially never accomplish in their lifetime, and you're still a kid. So I think that's awesome, man. So I'm curious, before we kind of get into exactly all the stuff that you're involved with, let's start off and get to know you a little bit better. And so where did you grow up, or I guess are still growing up?
Well, I was born in Hungary. Then I lived in Ireland for 8 years, and after that, I took a long flight to Silicon Valley, and then I came to Vegas. And now I'm currently staying in Vegas. This is where we have our offices, and this is my dreamland.
Okay, interesting. So, how old are you, just for people that are listening?
So I'm currently 13 years of age.
Wow. Okay, so...
And I started doing this since I was 7 years old.
Okay, so what got you into this so early at the age of 7?
Well, when I was 5 years old, I jumped up onto my parents' living room's table and I held my first motivational public speech.
Okay.
Now, how did I do this is, since I was 5 days old, my parents have been bringing me to inspirational, motivational events. They have been sneaking me in, and I was there. Basically, I grew up in the self-development and motivational environment, mainly.
Okay, very cool.
And after having this experience when I was 5 years old, when it was actually my 5th birthday, I jumped up onto my parents' living room table and I held my first motivational workshop about what I learned and about what I understood from these events. And after they saw what was my ability, they were like, "Okay, that's really awesome." And then after a while, when I was 7, I started to really focus on this, and I started to try and experiment and go. And then I started speaking at a couple of events like Toastmasters, at a couple of business events, a couple of private events, and so on. And then I started going to startup weekends now. But first I actually wrote my book, my first book, which is 12 Elements of the Winner Matrix. And the 12 Elements of the Winner Matrix is based on the first 3 elements that has to do about living the perfect and the amazing life that you truly were born to live.
Okay, so
once I published this book
go ahead.
myself. Sorry?
No, go ahead. Keep going. Sorry.
Okay, and then after that I was like, okay, I wrote my book, but now I want to publish it. And I started calling publishers, but it didn't really go well because this is how a phone call would go. "Hi, my name is Eric and I'm 8 years old and I wrote a book about life. Would you like to publish it?" Now, of course, most publishers thought that this was either a prank or they just hung up. So after taking a couple of few trials, I was like, okay, I need to find another way. And I started Googling and searching, and then I found self-publishing. So I learned how to self-publish my book, and I did it. And I wrote my first book, 12 Elements of the Winner Matrix, when I was 8.
Wow.
And it's available on Amazon, in paperback, and also in Kindle.
Interesting. So for people that don't know, what did you have to do to self-publish your book?
So what I have to do to self-publish my book, you know what? The easiest way you can find out is I'll give you guys my email, and you can message me, and I'll be more than happy to let you know how you can do this. Now, for who has a book and does not want to email me, the easiest way to do that is to go to lulu.com.
Okay.
Or to Amazon.com. So Lulu is a self-publishing service
Okay.
that not only allows you to self-publish your book, but it will bring you onto all the major stores, and also they have a printer, so you can print your books.
Very cool. Very cool. So walk me through. Okay, so you put this book out. Then what happened?
After that, I started doing some sales. I started doing door-to-door sales in Ireland
Okay.
to sell my book and also to bootstrap for my book
Okay.
to get print more and to sell more. So after doing this, I started going to events and I started giving motivational speeches. And then they were like, okay, but how can I take this home with me? And I was like, well, here's my book, and
Interesting.
this is the step-by-step guide that I followed and that I live by. So that's how I really started selling it, was through events.
Okay, that's
And
amazing.
then I realized that I need technology to actually make myself better, and this is the future, and technology is really the future. So I started going to a couple of events called startup weekends. Now,
Okay.
in case if you don't know what a startup weekend is, a startup weekend is basically an event where in 56 hours, 56 hours, you will basically take an idea, a dream, a problem, and build a solution. And then you can build a team, you can build a product, and then at the end of this 2.5 days, you can actually see this idea and you can pitch it and you can get some cool prizes. And then it's really up to you if you want to continue working on your project or was this just like a one-time thing.
Sure.
And after attending a couple of these startup weekends, I didn't succeed all the time. And then I realized it's because I didn't know technology and I didn't know how to code and I didn't know about design and so on. So after that, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to force myself to learn technology. And once I experimented, I started learning technology, I fell in love with this and I fell into this realm. And technology is the future.
Sure.
And it gives you the power to create. Because, when you learn how to read, you learn how to access the world. But when you learn how to code, you can actually create the world.
No, you're totally right, man. Like I couldn't have said it better myself. So you learn to code. What do you do with that? Because you've built a bunch of startups.
Yes. So I was actually experimenting at a couple of ways and a couple of startups to really see what can I create and what can I bring to this world.
Okay.
So after doing a couple of experiments, I finally nailed down what I really want to do, and that is Air School.
Okay.
Now, you might be wondering, what is Air School? So Air School is an online and offline educational system and an educational platform where kids can log on, then they can come to our physical locations. We actually have one location set up, our first one. We launched it, and it's here in Las Vegas. And it's called Air School. And Air School is a place where we inspire and we empower kids to change the way they learn. Because when I was in school, after a while, I saw that we can learn in a different way, and I saw that every single one of us learns in different ways and better ways. And I started standing up and telling the teachers, like, maybe we should change the way we learn. Maybe we should revolutionize it. And every single day I would go into school and try to revolutionize this, and I wasn't really popular because of that. So then I decided that if I really want to make an impact, I really have to take control of this. So I decided to start doing home education.
Okay.
And I worked out a system. I worked out my way of learning, and then I realized that yes, indeed, it is required to make a change, and everybody is talking about let's change the education system. And I really wanted to do this, but then when I saw people who had more influence than me, I saw people who had more power than me, I saw people who had more money than me trying to do the same, they could not make an immediate impact. And I was like, how can I make an immediate impact?
Okay.
And then I realized we just need to change the way we learn. And then it clicked. this is what we do at Air School. We empower kids to change the way we learn. Because when we change the way we learn, we actually change the way we think. And when we do that, we change our lives. And when we change our lives, we change our futures.
Sure.
And it is based. Sorry, yes?
No, go ahead. Keep going.
It is based on critical thinking and creative problem solving. That's all we need to know. And you can build and create anything.
No, I totally agree, man. Like the whole thing, like how you're so young and you're doing things that I think even a lot of adults can't do is just kind of fascinating to me. So what do you guys teach at Air School?
So what do we teach at Air School? We have actually 3 models.
Okay.
The first one is the initiation module,
okay.
where kids can come in and we ask them what do they want to do, and we have 3 topics. And the first one is games design,
okay.
where they can make their own games, design it, and then publish it onto a platform and really see what people think. The second one is coding, where they can learn how to code so that they can build their own websites, their own platforms, their own communities, and so on. And then we have the website creation and content creation, which is not basically building websites without using code. And not only that, but also how you can actually build your content and how to market it and so on. So these are our 3 topics for the first model, which they can choose and they can learn about it and just get into the model. Then the second one is the incubator level, where once they have set it up in the first one, the initiation, what they want to do, then in the incubator they can really focus on it and start growing it and start building it, and they can make a minimal viable product. And then the third one, which is the accelerator level, is where they can actually pitch their ideas. They will learn pitching tricks, make presentations, share them, and go for funding.
No, okay, that's incredible, man. Like that's great. So you have what age ranges do you guys kind of take kids? It seems pretty young, but kind of what are the age ranges of kids that you'll take?
We take them usually from 7 years of age till 16.
Okay.
17.
And so who teaches these courses? Is it other kids? Is it adults? A bit of both?
It's a bit of both, yes. Because we don't have teachers, we have mentors. Here at Air School, we don't, instead of telling them what's the problem and telling them what's the solution, we ask them what's the problem and we ask them what's the solution, and we ask them questions to help them to find their solution. We do not tutor their weaknesses, we mentor their strengths. Interesting.
Okay, so I sign up for a class, and do I have to bring my own computer? Do you guys provide those?
Yes,
how does that kind of work?
Currently, you need to bring your own computer. We have a few computers, but we recommend bringing your own computer, just so that then when you go home, you can continue working on this right now. And maybe somebody who listens to this show and who has a computer and he's not using it, we accept computer and tech donations.
Okay, very cool. So what are you guys looking for? Just laptops?
So right now we're looking for laptops, computers, pretty much anything.
Okay, very cool. So
but laptops is what we currently need.
Right, I got you. Okay, so if people are looking to kind of take one of these 3 courses, is there anything that they should know coming in, or the fact that they're so young it doesn't really matter, or how does that kind of work?
It doesn't really matter. You can come in prepared, unprepared, whatever. You can come in here and we can take it from there.
So I know you guys.
We see what are you.
Go ahead. Sorry. No, go ahead.
So yeah, we see what are your strengths, and then we take it from there.
Got you. So how do you involve the parents in all this?
So how do we involve the parents? We usually invite them to stay at our events
Okay.
and our workshops, because then they actually really see what their kids can do, and then they also join in, and then it creates this bond like, oh wow, you can do this. Yeah, I didn't know that you can do this, and it creates this really strong connection and bond.
Sure.
We have to educate the parents to understand that their kids are not only playing on the laptop, but they're actually learning and creating in their own ways. And every game actually has a learning. If you put that into that perspective.
Sure. No, I think that makes a lot of sense, right? And I think you're right. It's interesting that parents can kind of be very much involved in what they're doing, right? And maybe they'll learn something themselves. You must get parents asking, like, could they take the class for probably some time?
Yes, actually this morning we were in a meeting, and they asked us for a program for seniors, actually.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So what did they, like, just to teach them how to code or do some design, or what was that about?
To do designs, website design, coding, and game design.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's just in the Las Vegas area, or is that somebody kind of outside of Vegas?
Currently, yes, it's in the Las Vegas area, but we're working on expanding this and making this accessible everywhere. But right now, everything has a start, and then we're building it right now.
Sure. So you guys are looking to expand. Where are you guys looking to expand? Are you looking for people to kind of take your model and do it in their own city or state, or how does that kind of look?
Yes. So listen, if you're out there and if you're willing to organize an air school, then the easiest way you can do that is by contacting us on our email at team@airschool.tv.
Okay. And so
we have a written model, we have a playbook and a guide how you can actually organize your own and what to expect and what are the tricks.
Got you. Okay, so
all you need to do is to have a good Wi-Fi and a space with electricity. That's all you need.
Okay.
And some snacks.
And how long are these classes?
So our classes are on once a week.
Okay.
Saturdays, and starts at 10:30 and ends at 2:30.
Okay. And so yeah. So traditionally, you kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but walk me through kind of, I take this 4-week class, and what traditionally kind of happens once I'm done that 4-week course? Do I take more? Do I?
Yes.
Okay, like what happens?
So first we have the initiation module.
Okay.
That we are actually right now finishing. The first 10 kids are about to go on to the next level.
Okay.
And in the first level, they come in and they make their ideas into reality.
Okay.
So that we have 3 models. We have 3 of them who made games, actually.
Okay.
And 3 of them who made websites.
Okay.
And then we have 1 of them who actually made coding.
Oh, very cool.
And another 3 who are currently making games also.
Okay, very cool. So what's the cost to take these programs?
It's $250 for all the 4 weeks.
Okay, that's actually really inexpensive.
Okay, great. And we currently have a free Saturday class each month, so that people can come and really experience it and just really try it out for themselves.
Okay, and what does that really mean? Like, what do they take on that free? Like, what do you guys show them in that free class?
In that free class, when they come in, they'll be able to. We'll ask them what are they interested in, what do they want to create, and after that, they will, in the 2 hours, they will actually how technology works and how they can really create something, and then it's really up to them what do they want to do next.
Okay, I got you. So you've written some other books. What kind of stuff have you covered in those books?
Okay, so the second book that I wrote is From Dublin to Silicon Valley, and that's about the last 5 years of my life and about my adventure of how I actually used technology and how I pitched my way out of Dublin, Ireland, and all the way to Silicon Valley.
Okay, so
I actually won an award in Silicon Valley called the SVOD Audience Award. And SVOD is basically Silicon Valley Open Doors, and it's a really great place where you can pitch, connect with people, and you can really get mentorship and opinions about your ideas. It's one of the best things you can ever experience.
interesting. So how long did you spend in Silicon Valley before you moved to Las Vegas?
I spent 4 months.
Okay. So what inspired you to kind of write that book?
Well, because I want to actually share my experiences with other people who are taking and inspire kids who want to do something. That does not matter how old are you. It does not matter how tall are you. It does not matter how whatever you are. All that matters is that you have an idea, you have a goal, you have a dream, and you just have to go for it. And you can start today. And
No,
technology is here. Technology is here, and you just have to use it. But make sure that you use it and you don't abuse it.
no, interesting. Okay, so you do kind of a bunch of talks and kind of workshops. What do you cover
Yes.
when you speak in front of a group of people?
Currently, what I do, I try to actually empower people to take ownership of their lives and also take ownership of their future
Sure.
and how they can use technology to build and to grow their ideas, their dreams, and so on.
So
In 5 years' time,
keep going.
if you do not know technology, if you do not understand technology, how it works, then the future jobs will not match you, and you will not be able to access it. And you can wait until they will tell you, or you can start today by learning and by preparing and by doing.
No, I think it's great, man. So how do you find, like, obviously you're so young and you're probably talking to people maybe double your age or older than that. How's the response been to you? Like, it's got to be very motivating for them.
So I have actually two responses usually. The
Okay.
first one is the hands up, hugs, love.
Really?
And then the second one is the more of go home and put on a jumper and go outside and play in the sandbox and play games and just wait until you're old enough and until you're tall enough and until you're whatever. And to those, and you know what, I don't really mind because, I really want to thank my supporters and also the people who told me not to do it because they pushed me.
Totally.
They pushed me to this direction because, it's just really motivating.
Yeah, I think in some ways, like, the haters are almost more motivating than the supporters, for lack of a better
Yes.
way of putting it, right? And
Yes,
that's
I really love them.
That's great, man, that you kind of take their negativity and it inspires you to kind of keep going. And I think part of the reason I really wanted to have you on the show is, like I said kind of earlier on, is you're doing more things than most adults will ever do in their entire careers. And you're so young. You can't even drive, right? Like, legally. So
Yeah.
I love that, right? And so I'm curious, you're doing all these great things. What's next for you? Are you just looking to kind of keep growing Air School and write more
Yes.
books and do more speaking, or is there kind of other ventures that you're looking to
So-
tackle?
Actually, it's both of them because the first thing is I want to make Air School the #1 educational platform for kids. I want to make it accessible. I want to make sure that every single kid out there has an opportunity to connect with Air School. Every single kid out there has an opportunity to do something with their lives. And I'm actually building education 3.0. Now, what is Education 3.0? Well, let's start with the first one,
Sure.
Education 1.0. Now,
Okay.
that was back in the times when there was no technology and there was no Wi-Fi and there was no internet, where you only had one person who could give you information, that was the teacher. Now, what would happen is you would go into school, you would listen to him, and then you would repeat back what he told you. Now, Education 2.0 was where they sort of technology started being introduced, where Skype and chat rooms and so on, but there was still a teacher. And now there's Education 3.0, where you actually can get information from anywhere. And you can actually contribute your own ways of education, your own experience. And this is very important to actually, each and every one of us, to have a social responsibility.
Totally, man. I really, I think it's great. Like I think the thing that I'm struggling with a bit with, it's just like, it's so mind blowing to me, all the stuff that you're working on at such a young age. And I think that
Thank you so much.
it's so fascinating, right? That you're so motivated and you're doing all this great stuff. And so, for people that are looking to get involved, I know we kind of touched on it a little bit more with their school, but you have all these kind of mentors and people, helping with this thing. So how did you find these people to help you, achieve this?
One of the things that I believed in and that I know about is that you really have to truly ask. Because many people say asking for help is a sign of weakness, when actually asking for help is the biggest sign of strength. All you have to do is ask. Ask for help. Let people know about what you're doing and see how they can contribute. Competition is dead. Collaboration is key, because now we all have access to the same amount of information. It is up to us, are we going to use that information? It's basically the 3 steps of success. Show up, speak up, and celebrate. And people will come to you. People will connect with you. People will collaborate with you. And then it's up to you what you will do with that power, with that strength, with that community.
No, man, I think that's really great. I love that. So you also co-authored a book, correct?
Yes.
So what's that book about?
Okay,
And
so that
go ahead.
it's actually by I actually co-authored that with my first ever mentor. His name is Greg S. Reed, and he's actually a motivational and inspirational public speaker.
Okay.
And he's a fantastic guy. He's really awesome. You guys should really check him out. When I was actually 8 years of age, and when I was about to publish my book, I wanted somebody to write a foreword for me, and I started asking everybody who I knew. And actually, I have been friends with him on Facebook for quite a while. I was kind of like a little bit of an illegal alien on Facebook. But
Right.
however, now I'm 13, so I'm safe. But when I was 8, actually one day it was the middle of the night, and I got a message from him on Facebook. So I read it, and he was like, "Hey, dude, hop on Skype right now. I want to see if you're real." So we hop on Skype and we have a little chat. He's like, "Okay, you're legit, you're real. How can I help you?" And I was like, "Well, nobody wants to write the foreword for me." So he's like, "Okay, send me the book. I'll have a look at it, and I'll write you a foreword."
That's amazing.
It was just really amazing, and he's been always there to support and help me. After 5 years, we're still friends, and I actually attended the Secret Knock, which is the main event that he organizes every single year. It is truly amazing. You can meet really cool people, and if you want to go to an amazing event, make sure you hop in there too.
No, that's awesome, man. So what I'm curious then, what are you kind of are you working on another book, or what are you kind of working on right now besides Air School?
I'm actually working on the 7 power thoughts for teenagers,
Okay.
which is about 7 basic actions, 7 basic affirmations that they need to use every single day that can really motivate and inspire and build themselves.
Okay, so what are the 7?
So the 7, well, the first one is stop believing and start knowing.
Sure.
Because believing, it's actually, if you look really closely into the word and take out the B and the ing. Now what's left?
Interesting. Okay.
Lie.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Interesting. So. Okay.
So, and then the second one is to be you.
Okay.
And just be yourself. Never be afraid to shine it. Then the third is to elevate your learning. Because, technology has so much information for us. And, the internet is more than just a place where there's funny cat pictures. There's a lot of information that you can use, and it's just up to you what you do with it. And fourth is to act, don't wait.
Okay.
Because don't wait until you're old enough, until you're tall enough, until you're whatever enough. If you have a dream, if you have a goal, then just go for it. Don't let anything stop you. Then the fifth is competition is off and collaboration is on. Like I was saying earlier, the era of competition is dead and collaboration is just starting. We all have access to the same amount of information, and all we need to do is to grab it and to use it.
Sure.
Then if you learn how to read, you can access the world. But if you learn how to code, you can create the future. So start learning how to code. Just try every single day, a couple of minutes. You will be amazed how fast you can learn how to do that. And then seventh is you own what you know.
Okay. Interesting. So what do you mean by that?
Well, when you actually learn something, it's yours forever. And when you truly experience it, it is yours. Because what your experience is something that nobody can ever take away from you. Every single thing that you go through, every single little step, every single little emotion that you go through is yours. It is yours forever. Nobody can ever take it away from you. You can lose your money, you can lose your house, you can lose your car, but you cannot lose your experiences. And that is what's one of the most valuable things ever. You own what you know.
Oh, I 100% agree, man. I think that's great. Like what you're doing with everything and just kind of how you live your life and the mindset that you have is amazing. And so we're kind of coming to the end of the show, so let's close with mentioning where people can get more information about yourself, the books, and Air School.
So yeah, the first one is just go to www.airschool.tv. That is www.airschool.tv. Perfect. And then if you want to find out more information about me, then you can go to www.eric.com. That is ericlassard.com.
Perfect, Eric. Well, I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to be on the show, and I look forward to keeping in touch with you, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you so much. I
Thanks,
really
man.
appreciate this opportunity.
All right. Okay. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Thanks for listening. The music for the show is done by Electric Mantra. You can check them out at electricmantra.com and keep building the future.